Welcome back to the channel. We're here doing some Warhammer Rogue Trader. So, we just got done with a big battle, and we're going to go see what we can get into here.
I always keep my options open.
There's some. What's that? Blade shard. Okay. Oh. Oh. That sounds pretty cool.
Is there money to be made?
Some loot somewhere around here. But where?
Yeah.
Raver, Master Helmsman, System Stats Report. Master Helmsman Raver, by the Emperor, is essential. Living and breathing, wired man with sickly pale skin salute you. Well, here's a tricky question. The whole place is so overgrown with foul wickedry, and we'll be scrubbing it off the bid screens for throne knows how long. How do people survive in here? The man glances around the bridge. Must have been Providence. It better have been the Emperor's, not someone else's. When they barged in here, the ones with the master whispers, some officers charged them, but it wasn't even a fight. I grabbed whoever I could and dragged them behind the cogitators, and I prayed for rescue. We need to reestablish contact with the... Just gave them to work. The words seem to knock the officer out of their stupor, and the air around you fills with voices and commands been issued. You hear someone sobbing. One of the survivors buckling under stress. Abelard cuffs the crying officer without even looking. Restore the Vox channel to the navigator's sanctum. Ready the crew, prepare for translation to real space. Abelard pauses for a few seconds before turning to you. Malachi, you may call me superstitious, but translation is not a good time to disregard rules. You are the only one here. You're the only one who speaks for House von Valencius. You may not be the Lord Captain, but you, more than anyone else, deserve to take her place in the ritual that is about to commence. He directs your attention upward to the throne that sits in the apex of this tall staircase. What must I do? Take the Lord Captain's seat. Order the final preparations. Wait for the officer's report. Blast it off to the void. Translation is a craft, not something that can be explained in a tick. Just go up to the throne, Master Malachi. These people are about to do the impossible. At least they deserve the solace of seeing a figure sitting in the usual spot. Please hurry. Every second we waste is a terrible risk. I mean, really wasn't ready to do this, but I guess we will. Theodora, an image before you is hazy, swaying in a sorcerous currents, visible to mortal eyes, as if whatever is beneath the sin shell is constantly changing while still remaining the same. It is taken on the guise of Theodora, but the false rogue trader's eyes reveal the entity's true surreal nature. One of Theodora's eyes engulfs an otherworldly fire, the other a vessel of ancient evil bores it into you. A voice seeps directly into your brain without ever reaching your ears, and the voice booms with all the horrors of the warp. Who are you to oppose destiny itself for the sake of the lives that are not your own? So many threads stretch between you and other creatures of your world, pitiful, worthless links, ready to shatter at the twilight's touch, a muddled, erratic, pointless tangle. It resonates and merges with the voices that have already dug their foul roots into your consciousness. A moment later, you realize that these voices are myriad manifestations of the same call that finally invaded your mind. You're to blame for Theodora's death. Vision lets the calling laugh. I am the beginning and the end, and all that courses in between. I am the voice of the truth that is destined to triumph. For this triumph is the terminal point of every twisted maze of fate. Your head begins to spin and a vicious drop slithers down your cheeks. You blink. You are no longer looking at Theodora. This is traitor Voigtvir, just as fluid and ephemeral as the previous apparition. The same terrifying voice ceased from his lips. The aspirant vowed to return them with a trophy, a relic that could serve the edge of daybreak. That fate was assured and the steps chosen, and yet you broke the unbreakable when you took the aspirant's place. I see you on the day when final dawn rises over the iron world. I see you by my side on that day, the day of my resurrection. The image is scattered by invisible sorceress winds, and you see a deer, her eyes aglow with the same sinister flame. Your image is woven into the tapestry of things to come. I am the will of the weaver of destinies, and today I will weave a new thread. The elusive possibilities of fickle chances. The thread that will lead you to the maw of irreversibility. And the thread that will help you to find your keys of salvation. The thread that will guide you in your weapon of our return to me. A cavalcade of hazy glimpses of future yet unknown passes before your eyes, a flash of crimson and purple. The images replace one another in violent kaleidoscope without ever letting you get a proper look at them. Through the rippling mirage, you see a twisted image of Abelard, the loyal seneschal of the dynasty. The path is set, child of the dawn. The thread is woven, follow it, servant of mine. Master Helm's River. River turns around and looks up to you. He hesitates for a few moments, then addresses Abelard, who's standing next to you. Seneschal, the navigator's sanctum is silent. The Vox signal is stable, which means... Abelard nods admiringly. The navigator gave his life battling the storm that nearly claimed the Von Valentius flagship. We will honor his memory along with that of all who died this day. River does not look away. He is giving you a hard stare. His white brow furrows. Seneschal, will you tell us now, who is that? Where is the Lord Captain?
As first officer, it is my duty to inform you with the greatest regret and indelible sorrow that Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius is dead. May her memory never fade from the annals of the dynasty. By right of blood succession, and with the absence of other kin who could challenge this decision,
it is hereby declared that the successor to Theodora von Valancius is her heir, the rightful inheritor of the warrant of trade, and the title of Rogue Trader. The official ascension ceremony will be held at a later time. In the interim, have you lost your tongues? Hail your lord. It is because of his toils that we all still live. The deed is done, Master. My apologies. I meant to say Lord Captain.
Okay.
The treachery of the Master of Whispers was fruitless, but victory came at a great cost. Lord Captain Theodora von Valancius perished along with her heir, Edelthrad, and thousands of crew members. Yet hope remained, for the second in line to the Rogue Trader dynasty survived, and through the strength of his resolve, saved those who were counting on him for protection.
Yeah. Abelard. Deep shadows of weirdness can be seen on Abelard's face. Though his old officers are keen, they rake over you from head to toe. He frowns, mutters something, then nods to himself. Well then, your lordship. You can help but notice that Shinsel does not know how to talk to you, or where to begin. His hesitation brings an invitation smirk to your face, as if someone else entirely is gloating at the old officer's confusion. Seeing your smile, Abelard pulls himself together. You must now hold your first officer's briefing in your new role as Lord Captain. For many of those who are about to join us on the bridge, this will also be their first briefing. We sustained massive losses amongst the senior and middle-ranking officers. Some posts have had to be filled by the deputy, while others go unfulfilled entirely. And now the desk clans are deciding who will take over the leadership or the lead of this cruise. It appears that the heretics were deliberately targeting the vessel's command. They knew exactly whom they were looking for and where they could be found, which is unsurprising given that their informant on board was our Master of Whispers. Agenda for the meeting. Reports on the condition of the ship and crew. Lord Captain is not easily drawn away from her important affairs to attend such routine briefings, but this is a unique situation. I'm still receiving updates from across the ship, and they are not encouraging. Getting this bird to fly could take a gargantuan effort, even so far as you personally negotiating with the authorities of the system we are currently in. So prepare to hear maybe a complaints and excuse you, Your Lordship. Take this opportunity to get a good look at the officers who work 6 decks away from the bridge, and they in turn will have the honor of beholding the visage of our Lord Captain. Abelard grips his teeth. No, Lord Captain. And all the commotion his trail went cold. Our people are still trying to hunt for him, and any mutineers who may still be skulking in the ship's many corridors. But frankly, I would not be surprised to hear that we are now one shuttle short. I am afraid that it will be some time he answers for all that he has wrought. The gesture, Abelard relays the orders to the adjutants at the far end of the magnificent chamber. You found a consumable item. Okay. Dozen pairs of eyes boring to you, the expression revealing restraint, joy, curiosity, and wariness. Attention officers, you have been granted an honor. Lord Captain Malachi von Valentius will personally conduct today's briefing. Our most gracious Lord Captain is ready for your reports. As you wish, Your Lordship. Abelard points toward a tall, slender woman whose body seems to contain as many implants as flesh. Victus Suri Otto of the Ptolemy line, our new Vox Master. Vox Master, it is an honor to serve Your Lordship. The Vox Master offers you bow. Aboard this vessel, you have at your command thousands of crew members and hundreds of officers and section chiefs. I am responsible for receiving, processing, and sending all communications between you and them, as well as external sources. I am your eyes and mouth, Lord Captain. Beside her is Raybor, the master helmsman. He steers our ship along the course set by the Lord Captain and monitors the void around us to ensure that we do not stray into an asteroid field or pirate trap. The man with pale, almost transparent skin, large dark circles in his eyes, and a dour expression that seems hardwired to his face gives us all a nod. Hail, Lord Captain. This here ship's as good as home to me, so rest assured she's in safe hands. I'll die before I let her come to any grief. And lastly, our High Factorum, Janus Danrock, who oversees supplies, procurement, and general materials well-being of the ship. Dressed in an embroidered jacket, the heavy-set man with well-oiled hair offers an obsequious smile and bows. It is an honor, Your Lordship. You may trust me in all matters concerning your comfort. Everything will be done to the highest standard. In the second row, we have 3 officers charged with overseeing the ship's vital function. The Master of Ordnance is responsible for the artillery board, the Infernus Master, whose crew work to prevent and extinguish fires on the ship, and lastly, the Drives Master, the servant of the Omnissiah. 3 officers salute you. The Infernus Master does so with confidence, while the Master of Ordnance betrays nervousness. The Drive Master offers a salute resembling a dance, involving the complicated manipulation of all the tech priests, mechanendrites. Thank you, Abelard. Greetings to you all. I serve at your pleasure, Lord Captain. I guess that was all. There's only 6 there. The rest of them look like they're not. Yes, Lord Captain, the tall young man bows his head in deference. I can report that all fires across all decks have now been extinguished. The preliminary damage assessment in terms of material losses and crew casualties have been completed. The results have been sent into the Central and High Factorum. Post passed to him after the previous Infernus Master and his next 3 deputies expired in the line of duty. Abelard remarks in a low-voiced pitch for years only. The lad is managing well so far. He can take the heat, so to speak. High Factorum, what do you have to report? We are toiling day and night to compile a full count of the losses. The task will require next to no involvement from your lordship. I will personally ensure that the damaged components are given into the tech priest's hands for attention, and that all lost supplies are replaced. There is only one resource that I cannot replenish single-handedly, and that is people. We have lost more than 2,000 crew members, and unfortunately this number is not confined to the scum from the lower decks, which are easily replaced, but also include trained professionals. We will be able to make up the losses on our nearest planet, Rakid Minoris. However, the whole system in fact belongs to the Winterscale Rogue Trader dynasty. We cannot simply begin recruiting on the planet without first coming to an understanding with the governor. In that respect, I am powerless. Negotiating this level are a matter for the Rogue Trader. Especially true giving Caligula's Winterscale's penchant for attacking first and asking questions later. The kind of thick-skulled thugs he usually installs governors on his planet. Drive Master, I will hear from you now. At the voice distorted by a box retranslator emerges from under the tech priest's scarlet hood. Lord Captain, the foes that set upon this noble voidship destroyed the repositories of hundreds of machine spirits. The great work engines entrusted in my charge is unharmed, thanks to Omnissiah. But the spirit mourns its dead brethren. We have not yet identified a prayer protocol capable of assuaging this sorrow and anger. With great sorrow, I must report that the engineer prime overseer in this spiritual authority of all tech priests on board fell in battle. The Magos was betrayed by the little flesh that remained part of him. Most terrible loss. There is no one among my comrades on board whose experience and comprehension of the sacred protocols equals that of the fallen Magos. We require a replacement as soon as possible. I see. Okay. Master Helmsman. Right you are, Lord Captain. To cut a long story short, the overlook is bleak. The ship's sound, more or less, but without our engineer, prime, and navigator who fell in battle, we have no way out of the system. If we try to set so much as a toe inside a warp, I don't know what will happen first. Our warp drive is being torn to pieces and all of us melting into the bulkheads. Your Lordship, if you will allow me to interject. When we arrived in this system, my crews followed standard protocols and conducted an account of all available communication channels in the region. One of them was a Navis Nobilat station. The station maintains complete Vox silence, but even its presence here inspires hope. To have located a navigator in the very same system is an incredible stroke of luck. God, a true blessing from the God Emperor. Okay. Sharp bolt of pain lances through your skull as if in response to what you just heard. You understand that it is not the God Emperor you should thank for such good fortune. The words of the daemon that appeared before you during the translation to real space echo in your mind. I am the will, the weaver of destinies, and today I will weave you a new thread of elusive possibilities and fickle chances. The thread that will lead you to the mall of irreversibility. A thread that will help you to find the keys to salvation. If I were you, I'd grab the chance in both hands, or else you'll soon be eyeing of asteroids to use as your new residence. In slightly less shitty news, we can go around and around the system till our heads are swimming, as long as the promethium and supplies last. And if any thick as rock shit lowlifes come here sniffing around, we'll be able to take them out, so don't worry about that score. Okay. Master of Ordnance, do you have to anything to report? Master of Ordnance gives you a gloomy look. No, my job's simple. Maintain the arsenal, and fire when I'm told. But just ask anyone. We've got no able crew, no Lord Captain. Master of Ordnance, you forget yourself. So what? Comes the officer's hostile and bitterly replies, if his daemon bursts inside and all his pent-up emotions are rushing out of him. The ship's in ruins, and every second officer's dead, and now we've got a green Lord Captain who's supposed to lead us to void no swear. Silence! The bridge's gasping seemed to tremble under the force of Abelard's roar. Enforcers, seize this mutineer. You have found a consumable. Okay. What? Abelard grunts. If only one officer out of the whole lot has fallen to pieces, then that's not bad at all, your lordship. I do humbly apologize on behalf of the entire crew. What would you have us do with the Master of Ordnance, the former Master Ordnance, I should say, besides find a replacement, that is, or we already have one lined up. I mean, yeah, I think that's from Abelard says, unblinking at the Master Ordnance. Cease your sniveling. You disgrace yourself and your entire clan. Enough. The hysterics are over. Let us resume. Master Ordnance stands up, wiping the blood from his broken nose. His face is the picture of shock. What just happened seems to be dawning on him only now, and the knowledge of the fate he so narrowly escaped. To summarize, we have sustained serious losses in crew members, and we need a new engine seer prime, and navigator. Is that all that is preventing us continuing the voyage? Precisely, Lord Captain, but bear in mind that this will not be the end of our trials. The ship systems must be properly inspected for major damage, which can only be carried out at a footfall station. Home to the only dockyard in this sector, but we will never reach footfall without first solving these three immediate problems. Continuing with the systems. I cede to the Voxmaster on this point. Mr. Stolman, we are in the Racoid star system, and our voyage here is undertaken on the orders of your lordship's predecessor. There are 3 inhabited bodies in the system, and our attempts to send Vox messages have produced confounding results. The Navis Nobilat station has not simply failed to answer. It seems to be maintaining total Vox silence. However, we did receive a distress signal from the prison planetoid in the system, and Racoid Minoris itself is also not responding to our hails. But what is most alarming is that our Argos have intercepted signals from the surface that seem to indicate ongoing hostilities on the planet. The situation is not very encouraging, but without a navigator, a tech priest, and new crew members, we won't be able to travel anywhere. Therefore, we must go on to the planet and the Navis Nobilat station and find out what the void is going on. Thank you all for your reports. Dismissed. Assembled offer salute you as one. Okay. Your lordship, there is one other thing. Confidential matter of the utmost importance. Lady Theodora. Abelard hesitates. Your eternally esteemed predecessor brought the ship here to the system for a reason. She was giving a secret commission. You perhaps are wondering who has authority to commission a rogue trader to do anything, and I should tell you, the Lord Inquisitor, the hand of the Emperor, the chief architect of his will, and of the Koronus Expanse. Yes, quite right. XC, Xavier Calcazar. Lady Theodora was to seek out the Lord Inquisitor's right-hand man, one Heinrichs von Kallax, an interrogator, you understand. All I know is that he is somewhere in the system, that we must find him, and offer him whatever assistance he requires, and then deliver him to footfall in the Furibundus system. Finding him without any more information to go on will be difficult indeed, but Inquisitor is an important individual, and the authorities in the system, either in Navis Nobilat or the Governor Raikad Minoris, may know something. That is all, your lordship. You have a great deal of work ahead of you, but this is a mere taste of the daily burden of a rogue trader. Soon you must take up the reins of the Von Vasilis Protectorate. Abelard gives you another scrutinizing look as if trying to gauge how long you will hold off under the mountain of problems. His face softens slightly, and he seems to offer some words of encouragement. Adira, Sister Argento, explain yourselves. Sister battled grimly, nods toward Adira. The Psyker is suffering some ailment or dark madness. She insisted on seeing the rogue trader. I judged that it would be unwise to leave her unsupervised. For a brief moment, Sister Argento's song seemed to Sister Argento's voice sounds hesitant. I was also hoping to approach you with a personal request, but it can wait. Speak with me when you have time, rogue trader. Adira's glazed eyes raved, resembled one word burst from her lips. Daybreak. Dear, come to your senses. Damn it! Dear pressed his fingers with desperation. Your lordship, here's the thing. I was trying to see the immediate future, and it hit me so hard. My head is still spinning. Something very strange is heading our way, and I can't make out what it is, no matter how hard I try. A single word is all I can make out. Daybreak. Or maybe it's dawn, and it's ringing and ringing like an echo, like a bell. But if it's daybreak, then why is it so dark? We cannot extract any information of value from a single word. Can you tell us anything else, Mr. Stoss? No, not yet anyway. The voices are going berserk, all shouting at once. I can't make any sense of it. As soon as I know or sense something, I'll report it. Alright. Lord Captain, if you want me to take a closer look into your future, find me on the bridge and we can talk. Lady Theodora was well versed in my whispers on many occasions, and I'm sure you would benefit from them as well. Tiger's bitten lips stretched into a wry smile. There's nothing else of value to report. I declare this briefing concluded. It's time to get to work. Okay. So that was a long that was a long one, man. Alright. So we can level up here apparently. So what do we get? Choose characteristic. I think we're gonna go with fellowship, I think. And then this one. Nimble. Did we take more dodge? Hmm. Those are almost all. There's a lot to choose from here. Okay. Let's go with ballistic skill, actually. So many, man. Let's see. We're gonna take that too. I'm probably making terrible choices here, to be honest with you, but you know. All right. Captain. Good for nothing wasters, that's what they are. Each and every one takes generous Denrock, that high-born weasel. He fawns over the officers, but for some of the deals he makes would get him burned alive. He drags other people into his scheme so they take the fall for him too. One of my junior helmets was ferrying goods from footpath for him and got caught by the Tangential and ended up in the void hatch. Denrock couldn't care less. The Voxmaster, another Tallman like the last one, Void rest him is no better. She cut off half the Vox channel the day she took up her post. She said the Vox systems were damaged and the Engineerium had no contact with other modules. How am I supposed to steer the ship? Collect the cogs, report with the power of my mind? First officer, we're Sarian. I can't stand him. Like every Navy officer I've met, he doesn't know a thing about controlling the vessel in the void, but he puts himself up all the same and throws his weight around. Me and him have had to have words a few times, and he left me alone. I think the Emperor Lady Theodora trusted me more than the Essential when it came to helming the voidship. Then there's that woman, what's her name? Talas. Lady Theodora brought her along whenever she went, and look what happened to her. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out she was the witch that delivered her to an early grave. Like the countless souls before. I don't see why anyone would want that walking calamity on their ship, but some would disagree. They say she's friends with a young Ptolemy, you know, at least she used to be. Place. What kind of question is that? I like you and Lady Theodora before you. Where it be that I was making cracks about the rogue trader? Ha! I don't want to die just yet. Alright. Okay. Let's look at our map here. So there was some loot that I was not able to get, which is unfortunate. How may I serve you, Lord Captain? Connect me to the Methyls main channel. I wish to bolster the morale of my crew. It is done, Lord Captain. I am the ears and voice of the voidship. I supervise several dozen officers and 3 times that number of support personnel. We receive, send, encrypt, and decode all incoming and outgoing messages through the ship's internal and external channels. And we ensure clean communications and optimal efficiency of the crew's Voxcasters. If you ever want to know what worries and concerns your crew are harboring, what your subjects are whispering about local networks after their watches, and what their leaders are clamoring over shortwave Vox transmission, come and see me. I will satisfy your curiosity. I live to serve, Lord Captain. Okay, so where is Dara? Alright, sorry. We've got some more talking to do here. Hit a wrong button. So let's see. Where is that deer? Is that her there? No. Argenta. There we go.
Rogue trader. I indeed have a request, Rogue trader.
The cursed servants of chaos who assaulted the ship and took the lives of your loyal crew members, and they orphaned many children, including the progeny of the brave warriors who defended their posts until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in the Von Valencia's territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls could expect to receive some special consideration. Perhaps the Rupture could meet with the orphans. I will meet with them, no formalities needed. These are children of people who give their lives for the von Valencia's dynasty, and my consideration is at least what they deserve. I will pass on your instructions. Thank you for taking my request to heart. Whoa. One of them's clapping. Just one. The motley group of adolescents don't take your eyes off you. They're gazing at you as you're a creature straight from a fairy tale. Our indefatigable sister has been keeping an eye on these pups. Adelard glanced at gathered children. It's hardly the Scala Virginium in here, but we have provided the orphans in our ship with adequate care and instruction. Virginia is standing by the side of the group. At your approach, she perks up and announces her voice ringing. Brave ones, the master of the ship has appeared before you. The one who guides it through the darkness of the universe is by the Emperor's will. Greet your Lord Captain, the rogue trader of House von Valancius. Lord Captain greets you, brave ones. The teenagers keep staring at you. Girls remain close to Argent and smiles uncertainly. The skinny, pale lad tries to throw his shoulder back and stand at attention like a soldier. Only a few teenagers at the far end of the row seem sullen and not particularly impressed. So what? Why should we care? Our friends and parents died in their dozens for your noble lot. And you just give us speeches? Argenta quickly turns to the boy. A flurry of emotions flashes in her eyes, like she wants to both calm him and scold him for impudence. If you have things to say them without fear. I will listen. He smiles grimly. It doesn't matter what we say. You won't bring our parents back, and it won't change our fates either. We'll keep slaving away on this ship until we drop and die like our folks, or worse. I understand your grief. Your parents died. It's not an easy thing to go through. They gave their life for the truth. You heard the rogue trader. His words carry the wisdom of the Imperium. It's hard to say whether or not your words have left an impression on the boy, but he nods slowly and then catches himself and gives you an awkward bow. Abelard gives a sign, and the servants immediately emerge carrying packaged treats with von Valencius base on the wrappers. It appears it's essential comfort prepared for any contingency. They're just like tossing them. Argenta rubs her temples pensively. She smiles and offers a few more words of encouragement, then leaves the bay. Okay, I guess we go back to where we came from. Last little bit, man. Loads really slow. Alright, so now I've got to talk to a couple more people. I've got to talk to Abelard. And there's here somewhere. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where is she? I have a hard time finding things on these maps, to be honest with you. Greetings, your lordship. Generous Donk and your service. Skilled fighters. Rest assured there are people of most outstanding talents among the thousands of your crew. I will contact the overseers at once. Alright. So I can create more characters if I want. Okay. I'm gonna do that right this second. Where is she at? Oh, there she is. Okay. Tall, middle-aged woman stares straight ahead. Her eyes are vacant as she lifts an implant on her temple. Her collar is undone and one of the clasps is on the verge of falling off. Sensing your presence, Adira turns her head toward you and offers a crooked smile, even as her eyes look right through you.
What are you talking about, Lord Captain? Look, Lady Theodora couldn't care less if some eggheads measured my brains or not. It's not about the seal on your forehead, get it? It's about what's in your gut, if it's rotten or not. My gut's stronger than the adamantine on this here ship. And my implants are better than the ones they put in you on your Terra. If they weren't, I wouldn't have lived as long as I have. All right, let's hear what they're whispering about you. Seek not on firm ground, but in a golden hall suspended in the void. There waits a child without kin, but with a name blind to truth. She draws the brush across the canvas and does not notice that her palette is full not of paint, but of blood. And with each smear, this well does not deplete, but fills and fills up to the brim. One thing is clear. When this vessel overflows, none will remain unstained.
Alright.
Among the blind men and false prophets, a red-robed sage seeks the answer to a question. He does not know that it is not the answer he must seek, but the question that will draw everything into focus. Will you help him, rogue trader? But mark that sometimes ignorance is sweeter than oblivion. A chained hound chases after glimmers of the aurora, but sparks in the scent of oil confound his nose. The chain trails after him. What will happen if you pick it up? Will you become his master, or merely another beast in the pack of his true lord?
Alright.
The glow of dawn bursts forth from its prison. Dungeon walls cannot contain the dark essence wallowing in the dust. A naive cub pushes his nose into a familiar hand, one that holds death in twisted glass. Cherish it or cast it off as a burden. The sword of change has already been raised. What is one more life to it? I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. I'll try to rein them in, somehow. But for now...
Okay.
The little sister is afflicted with her own set of voices. Ones that whisper to her about corruption and heresy. The silly girl doesn't realize that if she wants to find the source, she needs to start by looking in her own head. Lyra, an outlying world in the Heathen Stars region. In the Koronus Expanse, the deeper you go, the less visible the Astronomicon gets, and the less people know about the Imperium. The arrival of a rogue trader is the best thing that can happen to a world like that. The very best. I embroidered wall hangings in honor of our national heroes. I did the same thing I do here, Lord Captain. Divining. Our rulers prized the ability to see into the future. Every psyker that could be found was worth a small fortune on Lyra. There's no such thing as a peaceful life on Lyra. People like me were especially sought after. They'd pick psychers up wherever they found them, buy kids off their parents, even just abduct them. Take me, for instance. I got taken from my street gang. The older kids sold me when they noticed there was something off about me. The ruling dynasties had schools where they trained us, and beat us black and blue. And then they packed us off to serve. Some of us held on for a long time, but others didn't last. Not everyone's as smart and talented as me, you know. Some people crossed the line and were out of commission before their time. It's an out-of-the-way planetoid between two faint stars. On Lyra, a dozen local tyrants fight over 5 measly continents. But they use everything they can to win, from poison to psychers. I haven't been there in many years, but there's nothing for me to miss. Trust me. But here on the ship is a different story altogether. I saw more wonders in my first year serving Lady von Valancius than I'd seen in my whole life on Lyra. Like my first journey through the warp, I was in bed for 3 days. I felt like supernovas were exploding in my head. I only found out later that I'd gotten off easy. Just through the bulkhead, in the bay next to mine, a whole team turned into... Look at me rambling on, Lord Captain. Pay no attention. Theodora von Valancius paid a visit to the ruler I was serving at the time. I don't know what the visit was for, and it's no business of mine anyway. I can still remember the way the voices in my head changed when I looked at her. They were practically screaming. She had so much behind her, and plenty ahead of her too. As I gawped at her, all of a sudden I heard a whisper. A hint, a suggestion, nothing more. But I know the difference between idle chatter and a real threat. I seized my chance and approached Theodora. I managed to whisper a couple of words in her ear before the wardens dragged me away. They beat me and locked me up. No wonder. It wasn't my place to converse with outsiders. And then Theodora's people came for me. They broke down the wall, butchered the guards. Also, I could tell them my warning in full. So I said the rest, but I didn't want to go back to my old life. And so I entered the service of the von Valancius dynasty. A few times. Not many. And if I think about it, why would I want to? I've got everything I need here. All the whispers I hear are familiar ones. They almost feel like family. And if I want to hear about the nightmares off the ship, I can. After some Amisec. But don't go getting the wrong idea. If I have to, I'll follow you to the edge of the galaxy. Of course, Lord Captain. None of the officers knew the Lord Captain well. Not even Abelard, and she was always closer to him than anyone else. She told me from the off that if I ever listened to anything in the warp about her without her permission, I'd be going out through the airlock. I'm not an idiot, so I never stuck my nose where it didn't belong. Only when I was asked. It's hard to wrap my head around the fact that she's gone. Lady von Valancius gave me everything I have. She opened the stars to me and the paths between them. I still think I can hear her voice. Lord Captain, forgive me, but it would be like talking to a person born blind about colors. I could spend hours explaining, but it wouldn't make any sense to you. Every psyker feels their connection with the warp in their own way. One person might see spots and shadows out of the corner of their eye. Another feels fingers running down their spine. As for me, I've got a door in my head. One that's open just a crack. There's no way to close it, no matter how hard I try. I've just had to get used to the whispers from the other side. When I need to use it for work, I listen in more closely. But I usually just try not to notice it. Training, habit, and a little amasec and a couple other things you can get on the lower decks. If you put all those together, it makes things bearable. Sometimes I even wonder if I'm imagining half the voices I hear. You know, when life on board gets a little boring. Better than listening to the living, anyhow. Well, if the door opens, that means somebody's planning to come in, right? But screw them. They're not coming through. Trust me. I know how to keep my valuable head locked up tight. Only losers who are afraid of their own gift lose control. Or idiots who never figure out what they are before it's too late. Or little kids who want to play around with their shiny new toy. If you don't know the limits of your abilities, or you're always bouncing around in your own head, that's a recipe for disaster.
Okay.
Alright. That's what I'm here for after all. So, I'm just going to lean on that door.
Already done
Sure,
that, so.
no problem. Sure thing.
Alright.
Of course. Always at...
Alright, let's go talk to Abelard real quick. This is Abelard. Is Abelard right here? Yeah.
Lord Captain. A noble aspiration, Lord Captain. I am ready to acquaint you with all the particulars that interest you.
Alright. Situation.
This is a topic for an official briefing, not a casual conversation. But I will try to answer succinctly. And if you permit, in my own words. The Koronus Expanse is considerably removed from the heart of the Imperium. This means that local warp routes become useless within months. Established pathways are regularly subject to attacks from all kinds of rabble. And in the only major port, the Imperium's frigates find themselves moored alongside pirate vessels. Until recently, the Koronus Expanse could hardly have been called a region of the Imperium. The situation has changed with the arrival of the Lord Inquisitor, but not by much. This place operates under its own rules, you see. More radical, so to speak. But ones that allow for a non-standard approach where there is a promise of victory. The Koronus Expanse is considered rogue trader territory for a reason. Only rogue traders have sufficient military might, audacity, and the rights granted them by the warrant to survive the leap into the unexplored part of the Expanse, and in the event of a successful outcome, to hold on to whatever they manage to capture on the frontier.
In the first instance, you should treat official representatives of the Imperium with respect. The Expanse may be on the fringes, but it still numbers among the territories of the Golden Throne. The arrival of the Lord Inquisitor has turned the Koronus Expanse into a less wild and uncontrolled region, to the regret of some individuals who had grown inured to the local lawlessness. Rogue traders such as yourself are also servants of the Imperium. They have been accorded special rights and powers. They wield immense authority within their territory, and they enjoy absolute respect in other parts of the Expanse. The most powerful of them are Kalagos Winterscale and Incendia Bastal Chorda. Tread carefully when dealing with either of them. If we are to speak of unclaimed territory, which is what Footfall is, among the scum that dwells on that handful of asteroids, there are 3 factions that wield considerable influence in the sector. The first is the Kazbala Commission, organized crime in its most primitive form. It holds sway over the Liege of Footfall, and has links to rogue trader Winterscale. The second faction is an offshoot of our shining ecclesiarchy, followers of St. Drusus. They are actively building their forces, and hold influence over rogue trader Chorda. And finally, the third faction, the Explorators, a wing of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They are willing to die and kill for the secrets of the ancient technological heresies that are hidden among the stars of the Koronus Expanse. You know, Lord Captain, I am no admirer of fine art. But when we next find ourselves in a civilized port, with time to spare, I will promptly find an artist and commission a portrait of the individual to whom you refer, with a hole between the eyes. Conrad Voigtveer. That he committed his treachery and escaped with his life was an unforgivable oversight. We both served Lord Captain Theodora for many years, and we never saw eye to eye. He was brash. He was never afraid of assuming responsibility, and he willingly took on difficult tasks. I am loath to admit it, but the von Valancius Protectorate continues to reap the fruits of his labors to this day. His service always garnered my respect. But everything else about him made me want to wring the neck of that two-faced snake. If you are taking comfort in the thought that we will hear no more of Conrad, prepare to be disappointed. You thwarted his plans, his meticulously plotted and nurtured treachery. He is sure to attempt to strike at you, and he will use his contacts and knowledge of the Protectorate to do so. The only question, Lord Captain, is whether you will be able to anticipate his next steps.
Okay.
As you wish, Lord Captain. Lord Captain.
Alright, let's see what else we can get into. Looks like the captain's quarters is over here. Do we want to go there? Let's go there for a moment, maybe. Oh wow. Okay, this is... There's some loot in here we're gonna get. Maybe. Huh. I don't think we need to gather that right now, do we? Wait, no. Here. No. There we go. Yeah, I don't see any point in getting that either. Okay, let's head back to the... I have a hard time figuring out the navigation in here. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and save here, and then we're going to try to do some actual exploring or combat or whatever comes next. But anyway, appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time.